Welcome to the RJLT Economics. Today I have 2 or 3 topics that I want to discuss, and I'm going to divide them into separate recordings, and I think I will post them separately. The first topic, which is the focus of this particular recording, is the possibility, I'm just a discussion here, I'm not saying that it is absolutely going to happen, but I want to discuss the possibility of the West's pivot with regards to Ukraine. And I want to divide this discussion in 3 sections. First, I want to understand or discuss why I think this conflict was provoked. And 2, I want to point to some of the potential evidence, some of the potential evidence that some people are already starting to pivot. And finally, I want to discuss the possibility, the probability maybe, of a pivot in this fashion. So first, why was this war, this conflict in Ukraine provoked? I think there are 3 reasons. 2 of them, the first 2 of them, are the major ones. Number 1, resources. Number 2, geopolitics. And number 3, cultural and historical reasons. So let's just look into them just for a little bit. Resources. What does this exactly mean? I think what I mean by resources is that Russia, being a vast country, is just curiously blessed with a lot of natural resources. Some people, I read somewhere that Russia's natural resources that are already confirmed are valued at over $300 trillion in total value. And in comparison, this is much higher than a lot of the major countries combined, right? The US, the Middle East, and of course, some resource-poor countries like China, Europe. These places combined, they have less than 300 trillion, and Russia has 300 trillion. So the neoliberal wing of the West wanted to have good access, cheap access, or even free access to these resources in order to develop their own business, to make money, to put simply. The second reason this conflict was provoked was because of geopolitics. Russia not only has a big landmass and lots of natural resources, but it also sits at the intersect of of Asia and Europe and the Middle East. It is to borrow a historic view, it is the land power. It is the land power that essentially makes powers in Europe and Asia peripheral powers. The only country that can really, from geography, be of competition or competitor to Russia is the United States, because the United States is a sea power. And so for the United States, for the new conservatives, it is quite important to knock out Russia, potentially to divide it, such that it's no longer a land power, such that it no longer can threaten the hegemony of the United States globally. So that's the second reason. And thirdly, there are some cultural and historical reasons, particularly in the Eastern Mediterranean region and in Europe. There are some historic conflicts. There were a lot of just ethnic histories that were not for some people, that still mean a lot, and they want to punish Russia for this. And so that's the third reason. I think this is less important because this is less rational. I do believe that even though a lot of people want to say, and I do at times agree, that the new liberals and new conservatives are not so rational, that they overestimate their own power, they make some reasoning. It's not because they just jump out of bed on the wrong side or whatever, that they decide to start a war. They start war to get natural resources, or to get to beat their geopolitical competitor down. So these are the most important reasons are those two, right? So now let's go to the second part of this recording, which is some evidence that some people are starting to pivot. A very obvious one is Elon Musk. We see that Elon Musk, being essentially just a new liberal, this guy started to ask for, but basically he repeated the Minsk Accords, and I think it's quite clear. For the oligarchs, it's if they can't get the resources for free, at least they want to be able to purchase it at a low cost, at a low price. And if they can't if they can't take the resources by military conflict, they want to have good economic relationships with Russia so that they can buy these resources at a discount. So I think there is a good argument for a lot of business people in the end or in time to pivot towards this point of view, which is that it's better to cut their losses, stop this conflict in Ukraine, and start buying resources at an affordable price again. So I think this is one. And also we see that Joe Rogan show, and this show was in which they discussed basically that Russia was provoked, and it was provoked. But these essentially reflects the change of mood in the West, that a lot of people are starting to think differently than a full commitment to this conflict. And of course, we see another new liberal, Professor Jeffrey Sachs, basically again confirming that the United States has an unnecessary or unduly or hidden hand in this conflict. He didn't go any further than this, but this already is a lot at hinting that at least the new liberal wing is perhaps reconsidering their position in this. Will the new conservatives, will those who are into the power in order to beat down Russia, will they pivot? I don't think those people are going to pivot. So now let's go to the third section of today's, third part of this recording. No, I don't think that those people who provoked this war, who went into this conflict wishing for reason number two, which is a geopolitical beatdown of Russia, I don't think they will pivot. But I think potentially or very likely those people who went into this conflict wishing for reason number one, which is natural resources, to get free resources, those people are going to pivot. And I think I'm not going to give a number, give a probability to this, but I think the one thing to watch for, and this is at least today in October 2022, it's still quite far, still months away. But if at some point Barack Obama comes out and says that there must be a peaceful solution to this conflict, there must be a diplomatic solution to this conflict, I think probably after the elections and after some things take place. I don't know. I cannot foresee. Early next year, maybe Barack Obama will come out and say that there should be a negotiated solution to this problem. There must be a modus vivendi that's put into place that resolves the conflict in Ukraine and the economic crisis in Europe. Then I think that signals the pivot. Right, so that's my view. All right, thanks for listening. And of course, I will make two further recordings today, and I will post them in succession. Thanks and have a great day.